My name is Bonnie Baldini. It is October 24th, 2012. I think when I was little, I always wanted to definitely. I. Wait. um, when I was little, I wanted to be an actress. I think. That's like um, the biggest memory I can recall. I think it was because, like everybody has their imagination, and I felt like acting was like the most accurate like way to become everything you wanted to become. Like when kids were little, they wanted to be like firemen and like dogs and like fairies and things like that. And, as actors, you can do that. So I guess it was like um, that imagination in an actual profession. Uh, um, oh God, my first job was a cashier at CVS.
You seem pretty hesitant about
Yeah,
that.
it was like the worst experience I've ever had. It was really bad. It was 3 years of just soullessness. It was bad, and I don't know if it was retail in general. I think it is. It's like the thing that got me about that job. It's like I understand that my bosses were like 30 years old, and then I was a 15-year-old college student. That would be great. 15-year-old high school student. But like seriously, they would tell me to do something, and I would get to doing it, like stocking shelves, and I would find a more efficient way to stock the shelf, and I would get reprimanded for it because it wasn't the way they wanted it. So I actually have got like I didn't ever get in an argument with it, but I vented with it like with other cashiers afterwards. I was just like about simple little things like stocking shelves. It mattered how you did it exactly. Like, and my input was so unimportant. You know, so unimportant. Like I literally had to move these parts of my body and place whatever exactly it was onto the shelf. Like, what is the point of that? And even that, like, okay, let me do it in a certain way. No, you have to do it this way. So my imagination, my ability to adapt to situations was not only unimportant, but like frowned upon, rejected, and it was like the worst. It was really bad, and it was I flipping back to what I am now. It's so different. It is. As I got older, things changed, and I realized. Well, first of all, I realized that I had a huge passion for not being the created aspect, but like creating it, and the other thing is that like the acting field is just so superficial, and you can have all of that talent and you can have all of the things you should have, but the director just doesn't need the way you look. So that kind of scared me. As a stage manager, is I was originally in this theater group that you were, it was like basically a camp that you paid to be in, and did you performed in a show. You could be in the chorus, you could have a lead or whatever. And then I became friends my senior year with one of the staff members, and she really brought me in and talked to me about how the stage manager works and things like that. And so yeah, I applied the next year and I got an internship as her assistant. And then the next year, I got the job. I work primarily with children from the ages of I think 12 to 17, and I feel like that's the best part. Like I right now in Temple, I'm working with adults and people who are older than me and have their own careers, and I love that, and I'm learning a lot. But there's something about getting to help children in that time like I was in, where you're not sure what you want to do, and you have this love for theater, but you don't know if it's something that you can pursue. So I feel like the best part of stage managing is getting to be that strong leader who sets an example for everybody. And it's like the hardest part too, but I think it's the most rewarding when it works. You know, it's really funny because I didn't realize the amount of work that stage managers do until I became one. Because, you just the stereotypes you have, like directors in charge of everything. Like, what exactly do the stage managers do? They take role, they tell you to be quiet. That's the kind of perception I had. But really, the stage manager is just like the focal point for all communication, all the concepts and ideas. He or she just organizes everything. And you never see it until you finally become one, you know. And this job really gets your butt in shape, and, you have to be organized or you don't have a job, essentially. As a stage manager and as a director as well, like, you can be a director and have the greatest ideas, but if you don't know how to put them out there, and it's just scrambling around, then you're screwed. I think my friends, I think they respect that, especially since I really think they value it as well, because a bunch of my friends and I are trying to start a theater group, and I've already become the sort of organizer, but also conduit of information, like I said earlier, planning things, bringing everything together. So I think my friends respect it, and utilize it. But I think my family, they worry because, directing and stage managing is very much, you make your own luck, you make your own career. It's definitely an entrepreneurial sort of job. Well, it's terrifying. I actually had a really good conversation with my first director about it, and I feel like what he said really got me going, because, I mean, it's true that, the unemployment rate is ridiculous for people in the theater. I know for actors in equity, it's in like an actual union, it's 98%, and that includes not only actors on Broadway and actors, but it includes Hollywood stars as well. So it's similar like that. There are less directors, but there are also less directing opportunities, and it's terrifying. It really is. But I made the decision when I decided what to study to kind of, like, I know for a fact that if I don't try, then I'm not going to get anywhere. But that just means I have to try. Like, I made the decision. Like, I sat down when I was like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? I was like, I know what I wanted. I wanted to be a director and a stage manager. And I told myself, like, not good work. Like, it doesn't have a good opportunity. It doesn't have a really huge field. And, like, I kind of told myself, like, you better make sure that if you're going to do this, you're going to do it 100%. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's terrifying, and it definitely gets people who love theater to run away. But I think that if I really put all my effort out there, I feel like I can make good work. And I feel like I can be successful. And I might be killing myself doing it, but my biggest fear is just like being in a cubicle for the rest of my life and not having all these ideas. Like, I thought I was crazy growing up because I always had these weird observations and weird ideas and weird stories. And I also really enjoyed, bringing things together. Like, when I was a kid, I would, like, direct things, get people organized, my siblings, get them to do this. I'd tell them, like, costume them. I'd do all of this, like, get them to put on a play for my parents. And I realized that even though that was so small scale, I've always been a director. Like, I've always been a stage manager. This is just me putting it out there, me announcing it. But I feel like that's what I am. And doing other things, I feel like if I did other things, like if I went to business school, I wouldn't have any passion for it, so I wouldn't do well. Like, by nature, I'm the kind of person that if I don't want to do something, I won't do it. That can even happen with, like, assignments in high school and stuff like that. But if I want to do something, you can bet that I'm going to do it really well. And nothing's going to stop me. So, it's all about being proactive and letting yourself know. Being honest with yourself about your field. Because everything's uncertain right now. No one has a good job that they're absolutely assured in. So you're telling me just because you're sitting in a desk, you have a better viable way of life than I do because I'm sitting in a theater? At least I'm doing what I love, you know. I guess I might change that opinion 10 years from now if I'm not as successful, but right now that's where I am. So I mean, at this point, like, I feel like if I'm not in the theater for the rest of my life, I might be wasting it. Because I've tried other jobs, I've tried other things, and it doesn't feel right. So, I don't know if I necessarily have to be a stage manager. It's more of, as long as I'm in the community of the theater and making art, I'll be okay.